All right, folks, welcome in and happy Monday to everyone. Hope everyone had a lovely weekend. If you like NFL best ball, you are in a safe space. My name is Liam Murphy. I've won 3 NFL best ball tournaments and had sustained success. We're going to be drafting some teams today. And I think we're going to start on Underdog Fantasy, where I won my first best ball tournament. Appreciate you folks being here. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let me just resize these windows. Let's kick it off with an eliminator. Why not? I'm trying to pace myself in Best Ball Mania. I've already done 51. We do need 9 people for this eliminator. So you want to draft against me? Now's your time. Good morning. Good morning. The big dog was fun. Yeah, so got a big dog in on Friday and also did my first main event over the weekend. And I did a DK 555. So this is the 22nd eliminator. The main event, I'm not going to do many this year. And, I'm someone who believes in drafting early. Obviously, I had 2 teams in the finals in Best Ball Mania last year from teams drafted in May. If I can, in these high-stake contests, I want these lobbies to launch the moment the contest opens because, I start ready, right? Like, I don't need information over the course of the year to be like, oh, I don't want to be selecting bad players. What if my guy gets hurt, right? Like, I want my competition to have as less information as possible. And once the NFL draft is here, I got every information I need, right? Like, I know where the rookies went. I know what kind of draft capital they got. Obviously, things change. But yeah, so got a couple high stakes teams in. I've not been taking Bowers a lot in regular best ball. And, as far as like building a holistic portfolio, the main event is a tight end premium league. And so I took Bowers at 8. And of course, you got to razz the chat a little bit. I took Bowers at 8, and then I said in the chat, hey folks, it's tight end premium. And then who did the 9-hole take? Trey McBride. So, maybe some cause and effect there. Who knows? But yeah, I was happy with my main event team. Went kind of weird. Went with a Bowers, and this is a managed league. It's tight end premium managed. Went with a Bowers, Achane, James Cook, and Lamar start. So quarterback, 2 running backs, tight end. And then hit a bunch of wide receivers. Travis Hunter, Jalen Waddle, a couple other guys. And then got Dalton Kincaid, who's a much better pick in tight end premium. What your feelings are on Kincaid, regardless. But he is a guy who is going to get more targets. He's going to get more receptions. And then, the touchdowns, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, like he's an even better pick in tight end premium. To the point where I'm like starting him. It was a draft that not everything went my way. Like about 3 or 4 times in the draft, the guy I wanted went 1 pick before me, and that's going to happen sometimes, right? But I'm pretty happy with my build in the main event. We'll see how it goes. Did a DK 555, first one of the year. I don't know how many I'm going to be doing. Probably 10. But that lobby was insane. One guy started his team with 6 running backs. And then his first quarterback was Aaron Rodgers. He ended up with a quarterback room of Aaron Rodgers, Shedeur Sanders, Joe Flacco, and Jackson Dart. So, potentially he doesn't have any starting quarterback. I was kind of forced to go 0 running back. And the lobby was like super running back heavy. So whatever. I took 9 running backs in a 20-round best ball format. And if you guys remember my big dog draft, which I did on Friday, you can go back and check that video. But the big dog draft for me went Jahmyr Gibbs, wide receiver, and then Chase Brown in the 3rd round. And so you want to be building, if you're building a lot of teams, unless you're just like, this is the optimal build, I want to be building like this always. So for some people, that's always hero running back. For some people, that's always 0 running back, whatever. You want to be varying your builds is what I like to do. And we got to kind of like, we got a running back heavy start. These things are so running back starved. Let's do GT here. And let's do our coin flip bit. Tails. Tails never fails, baby. Okay. If you're new here, any eliminator draft, we like to see how many coin flips we can call in a row. Anyways, to what I'm saying there is building a holistic portfolio. Right? I got 2 pretty running back heavy starts as far as my main event team and as far as my big dog team. And then in the DK one, it's a pretty wide receiver heavy start. I started with like 6 wide receivers through 7 rounds. So building different things. And arguably for the specific platforms, like, you know, Underdog is a half-point PPR platform. Obviously, running backs get a slight edge there compared to a PPR platform. I autoed all of my schnauzers, so yes. All right. I like Drake London quite a bit. You know, if I'm like really worried about the running back starvation, JT is obviously a good pick, but Drake London, what's to like? Well, you know, pretty good player in his own right. And then ended the season on an absolute tear with Michael Penix. Potentially Michael Penix, like pretty wide range of outcomes for Michael Penix. But one of the ranges of outcomes for Michael Penix is like we're viewing him, you know, like a fringe top 10 quarterback at the end of the year. Guy who plays in a dome a lot. Who is the 2nd most target dominant player on the Falcons? Is it Ray McCloud? You know, like let's ignore Bijan. Is it Ray McCloud? Is it Kyle Pitts? You know? So it's like it's London and who, basically. Darnell Mooney obviously is there. But Darnell Mooney, you know, a bit of a deep threat. I like Mooney a lot too, but he's not, you know. Mooney can get 6 targets, 8 targets a game, and London still get 15. And I think the people who just want to like every single team in these want to just be jamming like 4 running backs through 4 rounds are just like wrong, right? Like I do think kind of like a balanced team is better as far as, you know, what are you trying to do in the eliminator? You're trying to build a team that does have a high floor every single week, but also you want to be layering it with players who can just win you the week by themselves. So if you think about that, like what does winning the week by itself mean? It means like, you know, Jamar Chase when he hits 50 points. Okay, you've won that week, right? You know, Drake London scores 30 points. That goes a long way to winning the week, right? Like Ashton Jeanty hitting 30. So these teams that all are going like running back, running back, running back, running back, and then they get even more running backs. It's like, who's winning you the week at wide receiver there? Is it Khalil Shakir? You know, like, not to say that I never build teams like that, but I think people are jamming that a little too much. Let's go Lamar. You know, Lamar winning you the week. When Lamar scores 30 points, when Lamar scores 40 points, and the other team is getting 20 at quarterback, okay, now we're gapping that team by 20 to 10 points. That's a lot of points, you know? With Lamar, I'll always be building a 2 quarterback team. I think if you made me choose my quarterback for QB1, I would pick Jaden Daniels this year, though. just with the logic that, number one, last year was Jaden Daniels' rookie year. Number two, he does get Deebo Samuel this year, which could be huge. Number three, when we think of the Ravens, Bills, and Commanders, the Commanders easily have the worst defense in that group. And number four, Lamar, Allen, both these guys will probably stop running quite as much at some point in their careers. Let's go Terry, just because it's a pretty crazy ADP value. ADP of 32, pick 41. We want uniqueness is still powerful in this format, in the sense that hopefully I have the only combo of Gene T. London, Lamar, Terry, right? Like that's the hope. It is kind of nice, this where Best Ball Mania, you really want to have like pure ceiling outcomes for week 17, mostly. But in this, it's like, okay, I got Lamar's points, and then I got access to Jaden Daniels' passing game with Terry, right? So it's like, yeah, it's not pure ceiling, but it's pretty good. Do you like Penix assuming he's starting? What do you mean assuming he's starting? Of course he's starting. Like, no one should be assuming Kirk Cousins is starting. Could Penix get benched? Okay, yes. If we get good news regarding James Cook playing, do you think it's possible he jumps Hall and even maybe Kyren? My view there is I personally like James Cook a lot this year, and I have him ranked straight up over Hall and Kyren. I don't really think what's more likely is we're going to get like soft holdout news that is going to cause a logical panic, and Cook might drop half a round. He might drop. I really can't see him falling much further than like halfway here. And even that doesn't bother me too much if that occurs, because I'm getting the unit combo, right? Like I like the player's range of outcomes regardless of how the market feels about him. I think here's where we will grab a running back. Man, I really don't love the double week 8 bye. Like buys matter in this more, right? They just do. So we're going to be forced to go RJ Harvey. I don't really love this double rookie running back start for the eliminator, but it is what it is. And, like Harvey versus Ken Walker. Okay, Harvey's got a nice ceiling outcome, but I also think his like catastrophic downside outcome where you're like, man, I took the guy sharing workload with Audric Estime and Jaleel in the 5th round is pretty heavy. But anyways, to finish Cook, like, I don't think even if news goes well for him, he's going to jump up too much in the market, because there's already reasons for people to nitpick him. Number one, he led the league in rushing touchdowns scored. So like that's an easy thing for someone coming from like a mathematical approach to be like, this guy's due for negative regression. Pretty logical, right? You led the league in touchdowns, you're unlikely to do that. That's like the only logic there. Number two, he's historically been closer to like a 50% snap rate guy. So the people who just want to chase touches and feel like that's good process and not have to worry about how good the team is, how good the player is, that's another reason for people to be out on him. Kyren and Breece have things to nitpick about them as well, to be fair. But yeah, like there are ranges of outcomes where it's like, man, Ray Davis is playing way more than any Cook drafter wanted. Why not? I like never get Henderson. This running back class is supposed to be legendary. Getting the triple running back start. Who knows if we're going to get through week 1. But could happen. Could happen. And not hard to see Henderson being a smash. So is he a risky player somewhat? Sure. But we are going to need running backs regardless. So you like Debo this year? I don't like him from a medium sense, but I do like him from a chasing for like unheralded upside, you know? Where yeah, it's not hard to see Debo squeaking out like a wide receiver 10 season, or more importantly, having like 4 30-point games. He could get the rushing work. He could just house some touchdowns. It's also not hard to see Debo averaging 9 points per game and being a terrible pick. Yeah, well, I mean, you don't gotta like it. It just has to work. So it's like, yeah, my base logic is, oh, the rookie should be a little bit slower to start the year. However, other people probably think that way too, you know? And Gene T, obviously, I'm not assuming is a slow starter. Gene T should be getting nearly a full workload week 1. RJ Harvey also probably could get a nearly full workload week 1. Henderson, who knows? But yeah, you don't got to build every single team like you're like, oh, this is what I want to do always, you know? So the question is, are we trying to get like 2 of these wide receivers or just 1? There's Brian Robinson, he's a fine guy. But let's just take one of these wideouts for now. Reed, Pearsall, they're both close. Maybe if a 30-second clock was here, I would have taken Pearsall just because London has the same buy as Reed. And, you know, this team can advance out of week 1, week 2, week 3 without getting much from running back, you know? If Lamar goes on a tear to start the year, could be advancing me by himself. How long until we start seeing shifts in ADP? I mean, there's not going to be much actionable news to shift ADP for like a while. Pretty much the drafts between like May, late May, June, until, well, we're getting Pearsall anyway, so obviously we're going to do that. Here's an example of a player that is falling, Pearsall. Why is he falling? He tweaked his hamstring at practice. And so he's not going to be able to practice until like late July. And so it's like the market is trying to hold on to any bit of news that it can. Obviously, it doesn't actually matter for Pearsall if all he misses is the next 2 months. You know, if Pearsall's playing week 1, seems pretty great. I would say my confidence in Juwan Jennings, which was already pretty high, has gone up even a little bit more, but it's still kind of hard to leap some of these wide receivers and running backs in front of him. Does Pearsall injury history concern you at all? Not really, Hartman. Injuries, for the most part, are somewhat random. Are you still a Jerome Ford truther? I mix him in the last round. And yeah, I think you tell yourself the story, you're getting points. He also could just be a pure special teams player. So what do you win when you're right is the question you should be asking yourself. And the Browns are probably not a good enough team that you're even winning anything meaningful there. Should we be correlating week 15 or week 16 for this contest due to the payout structure? Absolutely not. This is a this is the eliminator, to be clear. You should not be correlating for a head-to-head matchup in week 15 or week 16. You don't need to correlate at all for the playoff weeks in the eliminator. You can on an individual team, but you know, mathematically, let's do some rough quick maths. Okay, you start with 150 teams divided by 2. You got 75 teams left after week 1, assuming you max. You got 37 and a half teams after week 2. You got 18 and 3/4 teams after week 3. You got 9 teams after week 4. You got 5 teams after week 5. You got 2 teams after week 6. You got 1 team after week 7. You have less than a team after week 8. So mathematically, if you max this, you're going to get eliminated pretty early. Yeah, I don't always go another quarterback here, but Purdy, he's honestly just a week 14 bye. Feels nice. Feels nice just to be done at quarterback. Get the stack with Pearsall. Why not? Yeah, obviously Pearsall getting shot is not injury history, but there is some other injury things I think he had. You drafting any Superflex teams? I did one team on stream, but no, not many. So a relatively balanced team for me. No tight ends yet. We're done at quarterback. We have 3 running backs that, like, even if we stop at 5, could work. We have 4 wide receivers that we feel good about to have some big games. Which round do you think will be the one where almost no one smashes? For me, I would say that's round 8. Let's see here. Correlate your rookies. Ginty, Harvey, Henderson, and Tootin. Just need one of them to be good. So yeah, for me, it's usually like I think I got a smash pick in the 8th, Pearsall. But usually this round is like Darnell Mooney. And if you don't get Darnell Mooney, then you're staring at like a bunch of quarterbacks, Cooper Kupp, running backs. So yeah, round 8 feels pretty most of the time. Are you factoring early season schedule? I am not, Hartman. Just by naturally building different teams, like I'm going to get exposure to some good schedules and some bad schedules. And yeah, it just seems a little too minutia. Yeah, quarterback, running back is always a fine stack, both for negative correlation and positive correlation. Saquon getting the Madden cover. Year of the running back, take 2. I mean, obviously not. No, we are not. We typically do not operate on curses and other what I would put in the illogical bucket of thinking. But hey, other people, that's going to be a big part of their process, and that's why fantasy football is great. You may have been kidding, but you know, there's been enough talks about it. How good / bad do you think the winner of the Eliminators team will look like? The nuts or just lucky matchups? It's going to be a mix. There are going to be some teams where you're like, really, that team won? Yeah, Kirk, a tail end of a tier. Doesn't even really matter if he is not the guy for Jalen Noel by like week 7, like it would for Best Ball Mania. If all he does is like advance me through 6 weeks, that's fine, you know? Yeah, I mean, I've not played the Eliminator in the past. I think I played it 2 years ago. I don't really remember much about it. Nor did I put much thought into it. Like, really, what is the Eliminator for me? Well, one, I just really like the concept of the contest, right? I like the concept of this head-to-head contest. It's just fun. And it's like a contest I'm happy to draft. I don't want to be drafting Best Ball Mania right now just because I've done on too many teams. So I want to keep my pacing there. So it's just a contest for me to draft when I don't want to be doing that, and I don't want to be doing things like the puppy Superflex. And it's a fun contest to think about because it's so different. So yeah, we're definitely going to take a tight end here. Kraft, Warren, Kincaid. It's all pretty similar. I think we're actually going to do Warren this time. Correlating with all the other rookies. Why not? And there are, you don't really feel warm and fuzzy about any of the Colts passing game. But, just think of what Bowers did with the Raiders last year. It's not hard for me to envision Tyler Warren, just getting 8 targets a game, 9 targets a game, scoring some touchdowns. Seems like a fine piece. And those, not everyone likes Kincaid, so I might get him on the wrap. So the team, Lamar, Purdy, Jeanty, Harvey, Henderson, Tootin, London, McLaurin, Reed, Pearsall, Kirk. We have 2 week 5 buys, which plays nice with Kirk, where it's like, he should be still starting by week 5. Could be starting the whole season. That would be my guess. I take Kraft a lot just because the market's not into him. And I don't want him on like every team. Yeah, he's like easily the most expensive 3rd round rookie wide receiver ever. Same thing with Jaden Blue. He's easily the most expensive 5th round rookie running back ever. But the Kyle Williams ones, I am not doing. But there's been talks that Stephon Diggs could get cut, which changes the calculation. Apparently, if Diggs doesn't pass a physical, his contract voids or something. Some of the reporters have opined that he could get cut. I don't know. Obviously, him with that drug video is not great. We're just going to grab a running back here. I like Garendo. Huge upside. Yeah, you might be celebrating Jalen Polk, though. Yeah, I'm sure Vrabel just wants to cut someone to send a message. Could see that. I mean, I like Demario Douglas. It's just kind of like a cheaper version of Wan'Dale Robinson. It's all kind of risky right now. Don't watch baseball at all. Probably my least favorite sport. I mean, yeah, Trey Benson in a format where people hoard running backs, why not? Past ADP. I don't get a lot of Benson, but it's really not hard to see him being a great click this year. James Conner, another year older. More importantly, Benson, just year 2, could be like a stud, getting some positive reports. And with this, like, I'm pretty confident stopping his six running backs here. You know, Benson maybe getting some work week 1. Who knows? You never feel warm and fuzzy about 4 rookie running backs for a format that weights points week 1 equally to week, 10. But we got a lot of them. We got late buys for some of them too. What am I gearing to make? Maybe a 2-6-7-3. Kendrick Bourne could be the best Patriots wide receiver. Could be cut. I would only take him when I have Sam Darnold. I wouldn't say I like him, but I do draft him sometimes. I think he plays better in some formats better than others. Like this format, MVS is not a great click. A random 20-point week once a year, maybe 2, not as valuable, I think we might as well grab a tight end here. We're going to grab Freiermuth. I don't think the Jonnu Smith trade is likely to happen. Just pretty rare for that info to get leaked out and the trade to actually occur. Who's leaking that info? Probably Jonnu's camp is leaking the info because they want a lot of negative press for the Dolphins GM so that the trade doesn't happen. Right? Maybe what happened to the Dolphins tried to play hardball with Jonnu. And everyone knows that people are going to be like, are you kidding me? You're going to trade the only guy who was good for you last year? So, yeah, but Pat Freiermuth falling a little bit in price because Jonnu could get traded there. Even if that happened, it's not like Freiermuth is dead. They could run some weird offense with 2 tight ends getting a bunch of targets. I would think we're going to get JK and Keenan to sign in June, but I don't know, man. No one knows there. Let's do Noel with Kirk. Not a guy I take a lot. If either of them are good clicks, that could be enough for my team. But yeah, I mean, I could see this going a couple ways. J.K. Dobbins has more of a this is the month. By the end of this month, he has to sign somewhere if he doesn't want to go back to the Chargers, which maybe he does. Who knows? Keenan, though, Keenan could wait out training camp injuries. He could wait out training camp cuts. He could retire. I don't know. Yeah, it does feel like someone in that range is going to be a good click. Ray Davis, Garendo, Algier, Benson. It's honestly not my favorite matchup for Week 17. Texans got an elite defense. But obviously I still correlate it. I'm still drafting JK with relative confidence. The bar to clear for him is so low where he goes. Every running back being taken around J.K. Dobbins is being wish casted to some degree. Jalen Wright, possibly not even the RB2. Justice Hill, possibly not even the RB2. Might as well go Hopkins with Lamar, get a stack there. Not hard to see Hopkins being a pretty good click this year. Could I squint and see the 700 yards, 7 touchdown season for DeAndre Hopkins? Yes, I can see that. Who do I think is more likely to sign, Keenan or Cooper? I would say Keenan. He was better than Cooper last year. All right, what are we going to do with this last pick? It could be tight end. It could be wide receiver. It could be running back. We got some overlapping buys. Not ideal, but it's fine. Only 2 5s, only 2 6s. Technically, only need 3 of these guys to start each week. Got some questions at wide receiver for sure. Got some questions at running back. Not my favorite squad ever, but these just all have a week 5 bye, so we're not doing these guys. Let's do Jalen Tolbert. Why not? Let's call him 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. That'd be pretty good if we get that. Gives us a different buy to play with. So the team, Lamar and Purdy, Jeanty, Harvey, Henderson, Tootin, Garendo, and Benson. 3 week 8 buys is what it is. Again, mathematically, we're going to be eliminated by then. London, McLaurin, Reed, Pearsall, Kirk, Noel, Hopkins, Tolbert, Warren, and Freiermuth. So don't really love any of our rooms, but hey, except quarterback. Yeah, I autoed some hound. I made a couple picks in the Hound Dog, and then I clicked auto. I don't know. I like the structure, but I was busy at that time. How do you feel about Roman Wilson? I think Roman Wilson has a better chance of being like a quasi league winner than Calvin Austin. And Calvin Austin has like a somewhat better chance of giving you a 20-point week here or there. The Pug, we've already drafted. There are some super flexes here. We'll do a super flex for the people. I was going to do a DK draft, and I didn't feel like it. I don't see myself drafting a lot of these on my own. Ooh. Got the 103, which is nice. We're going to go with one of the quarterbacks. With the bad vibes around Marshawn Lloyd, have you been taking any Emmanuel Wilson? I have not yet. I might. I think it's viable to take Lloyd and Wilson together in a draft. Even that could burn you, though. And I don't think people are reacting to Lloyd being in like the rehab group or something like that at practice, which I don't know. I don't really care on June 2nd that he is. I'm still drafting Lloyd somewhat. You can't really go wrong at the top. Like, either get a quarterback or build a super team. It is a 2 wide receiver format. So in that draft I did with Davis, people were hoarding running backs. I see why that occurs. I still would not build every single team like that. I think people are jamming that too much. Looks like the quarterbacks are flying. I mean, this is fun just because it's different, right? But inside best ball, there's probably an edge the second that Superflex contests end to enter whatever drafts are available, because some donkeys are going to draft this and then not realize it's no longer Superflex, and they're going to build their teams like it's Superflex. So Joe Burrow cuts off the quarterback line. In general, like on Marshawn Lloyd, if a guy got draft capital, there's enough reason to still mix him in my mind. This was like Rashad Penny, the year I won BBM2 when I was drafting him. He had the draft capital. People tend to overstate this, Jared. I could see it. I think it's a major edge to draft Superflex. Seems like a lot of people attacking wrong, and it's not much content for it out. Sure, I could believe that. Just understand you're still trying to win a super top heavy tournament. And, people are not, just because there's like some bad teams in your lobby, that doesn't really do much for you winning the contest, which is how you make money playing best ball. You win the contest. You don't advance half your teams. You don't advance every team. You don't advance 25% of your teams. That helps your chance of winning. But if in general there's a lot of dead teams in each lobby, that should lead to super teams. Yeah, I mean, the eliminator is a brand new thing, so they think they have it figured out. They're probably wrong. So I don't know what we're gonna. I mean, we might just go QB if we like it. We'll see. We'll see what skill players are there. Might go wide out. Might go RB. Puka. We're probably gonna grab a wide receiver here. Amon-Ra. Let's grab Nico. I still think Nico has a chance to be wide receiver one as much as anyone else. An elite downfield threat. I mean, that's a tad ahead. Most people have done less than 5 BBMs. Not everyone believes in the validity of drafting early. And a lot of people watching this that do believe in it wouldn't believe in it as much if I didn't get 2 teams in the Best Ball Mania finals that I built in May last year and wrote about it beforehand, right? Like, there's a lot of reactionary things. Right? This is an article I wrote last year. Why I'll always draft early and you should too. Wrote this on May 2nd of last year. Talked about the ADP values. Added context why the year before it was so good to draft late and how that was like an outsized return. The emergence of Puka, the emergence of Tank Dell, Kyren Williams. Like, these are not things we're going to get every year, folks. But some people just want to draft when they have max information, which is later in the year. I mean, I don't understand why, Yeah, don't draft Superflex if you hate that people go QB, QB, QB. They're going to do that. Yeah, I mean, the Superflex especially, the ADP value is probably amazing on day one. I don't care enough about the contest to attack that, but so I went Jaden and then 2 elite wideouts. Probably going to go thinner on the overall quantity of wideouts I take, with me having Nico and Brian Thomas in there every week. Yeah, but you know, it's nice. You got some CLV. I got a lot of CLV on Swift, Pacheco, Brian Robinson too. CLV does not correlate the points scored always, you know. It's good that they go up in price, but DeAndre Swift is going back down in price if J.K. Dobbins signs there, you know. Just moving somewhere else within Florida. So going to be moving at the end of the week. So don't know what my streams will be like back then, towards then. I think getting an elite tight end is actually a huge edge in this too. We're going to go Trey McBride. Just so many, like, just going 2 tight ends or something like that is pretty nice. And you have to start a tight end each week. So we're hoping that we're just beating most of the room at tight end every single week, which is nice for advancing. So here's where we need to decide, like, are we gambling it on quarterback? Because if we don't grab a quarterback now, we might not get another one. So yeah, I think we're going to take one. No stacks to speak of. I think we're just going to go Geno. Stafford's easier to backstack. So is Tua. So is Young. I don't care. We're going Geno this time. This is not the Eliminator. This is Superflex. Would pairing Brock Bowers and Ginty be a good move in redraft? It could be. I wouldn't say, you know, it seems pretty neutral on paper. A lot of people wanted me to push quarterback. I think that's playing the contest pretty bad. Like, when you're at the tail end of a tier, you should always punish the tail end of the tier. The quarterbacks at my next pick are going to be Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Daniel Jones, Dart. Like, these guys have no week 1 starting. Me having a quarterback room of Daniels and Geno allows me to stop at 2 quarterbacks if I so want, right? Like, I don't need to take another dust ball. I can just try to load up at the skill positions. I would have considered Cook too. Well, Michael, 43% drafts in and 19% chase. Sounds like a first world problem. You just got to keep in mind, like, if you are going to 150 max, no, you should not take another player other than Jamar Chase, because if you're going to 150 max, you're probably going to end up at, like, you know, 10% chase in the long run. Yeah, we're going to go Chuba. I like the running backs. The quarterbacks are gone, by the way. Shuck is your last, like, I guess he's a starter. if you were not doing, like, let's say you're only doing 70 teams, that is where you could start mixing it in. You could decide, like, do you want your edge to be this year? Do you want your edge this year to be that you have the like Ja'Marr Chase is one of the firmest 101s we've ever seen, in the sense that almost no one takes another player over him. Almost no one, right? Even the most staunch running back bros, which I wasn't sure what would happen, but yeah, the recency on Chase's season and, like, I guess the faders feeling bad about it or something has him so firmly going 101 that it is a huge edge just to get more Chase than anyone else. Because yeah, there are going to be years where you needed to have the 101 to win. It doesn't feel good when that's the case. When it's like, wow, if I didn't have the 101, why did I even draft at all? But it's never happened, but that could happen one year. You know? So I would comfortably go into Best Ball Mania with like 25% Ja'Marr Chase if I could. Because no one else can replicate that. Literally no one. If you're not getting the 101, you're almost assuredly not getting Ja'Marr Chase. Very rarely you'll get a Saquon drafter or something like that. And maybe the casual crowd starts taking Saquon more later in the season. I mean, you're saying like 50% of the builds. Hero running back is almost always good. Zero running back is good when there are starting running backs that emerge later in the drafts, and it's bad when that doesn't occur. Got the tail end of a running back tier as well. So our team's like pretty good. We got 2 elite wide receivers. We have an elite tight end. We have 2 running backs who should be giving me a lot of points. We have 2 quarterbacks. So, like, just need to add out depth from here. And, I mean, just so we could take a third quarterback and be done, Rodgers, to me, there's a huge tier break after, because I'm still assuming Rodgers is starting for the Steelers the whole season. Russell Wilson, I mean, there are going to be years where Russell Wilson starts 14 games. There's going to be years where Russell Wilson starts 2 games. Let's go Addison. Why not? Up the likes, please. Thank you. That's what we do here, Jared. Sometimes we build extreme builds, and not everyone likes those. So I am probably not taking another quarterback. You know, I don't know. Could I take a Kirk Cousins in the 20th, something like that? Maybe. Let's see. Did anyone punt quarterback? Not really, right? Everyone either has 3 quarterbacks or they went like too early. You know, like, who's the weakest quarterback room on paper? Maybe Bo and McCarthy, and that's fine, you know? Like, I think Stroud, Penix plus Dart is better than that, but there are going to be years where Dart doesn't start till week 12. Have I talked about Magnus's chess game? No. Magnus lost a game that he was winning the whole time, and then he slammed the table. pretty normal. People are overrating it. I mean, the thing is, Magnus Carlsen has been so dominant at chess that people cannot wait for his downfall. And unfortunately for them, it's not happening anytime soon. Like, okay, he made one blunder against Gukesh late in the game, but he was dominating that game throughout. And he's probably just not going to blunder all that often. So relish that, haters. It was nice because I played chess over the weekend. I lost all my games. I was definitely winning 2 of the games like the whole time, and then I blundered twice and lost those games. So it was nice to see the world champion blunder as well. Thank you, Magnus. I still like Ayuk. Don't even, Addison and Ayuk could not be playing for the first 3 to 5 games. Who knows? Doesn't bother me. I don't think you articulated your question well, but I'm going to get to it guessing. Wow, that guy went triple. I don't know, just double tight end. Kind of the end of running backs. Let's go sharps this time. Do you think a good eliminator strategy will be to correlate bye weeks at the onesie positions? Now, what he's talking about is not correlating bye weeks. So that's why I think that word is just randomly in there. But he says, example, Jaden Daniels bye is week 12, so make sure my backup quarterback have a favorable matchup. Yeah, you're not correlating buys there. You're just making sure that you have a good matchup when your quarterback has a bye. And I think that's fine to do. I don't do it much myself. I'll sometimes after the fact look it up and be like, oh, what's his game? But yeah, I mean, like, look, I'm someone who likes to draft players who I think have good matchups week 17. But we're going to be wrong a lot on this stuff too. So you can simply get lucky. You could think it's a bad matchup on paper, and the guy gets a good, you could think whatever, facing the Eagles is a bad game, and then your quarterback gets 20 points in garbage time. But yeah, if you want to look up the schedule, I just don't want to be looking up every team schedule. In general, that stuff's going to come out in the wash. All I know is best ball playoffs. I'd be excited. Ayuk on my squad. Yes. We discussed that Diggs might get cut. I don't really know if there's much actionable news yet, though. Why not? I think Kincaid's a tier break at tight end. I only feel like Diggs is at OTA. Okay, there's your news. The guy's practicing. Apparently, he needs the passive physical, but from what I've seen him running, he looks pretty close to full health. I think I'm gonna stop at 2 tight ends. Just hope that McBride is a beast, and if not, Kincaid gives some games, and it just lets me take more stabs at running back, wide out, maybe some weirdo quarterbacks. We're gonna go Igbokwe here. In general, I think you want to be chasing draft capital. Igbokwe went 17th overall in the draft. pretty good. Yeah, I kind of hope Kyle Williams gets like to the 6th round. I don't have any Kyle Williams yet. If he's the guy you need this year, good game. You know, you have to be pretty good to actually like punish a fade. Even if Kyle Williams is at like 10 points per game and half point. 0% Harvey, I get it. That's riskier though, right? I would say though, his playoff matchup is terrible. At Kansas City, like that's not generally what we want. I mean, like I think this illustrates the point better than anything. Emeka Egbuka went pick 17 in the first round of the NFL draft. Kyle Williams, who went 2 picks later in a fantasy draft, went at the top of the 3rd round. That's ridiculous, right? Like that's insane when you think about that. So I get it. People like the Kyle Williams tape. I kind of did too. But you got to be real good. You got to be really, really good to pay this off. Sure, you could say if any player has 25 points. Absolutely. Here's New England's playoff schedule, though. Buffalo, bad matchup. At Baltimore, bad matchup. At Jets, probably not a good matchup. Slot's a little bit better of a matchup against them. So the difference with Egbuka is you don't score fantasy points holding your helmet on the sideline. Who do you guys think is more likely to be on the sideline? The running back who went, or the wide receiver who went in the 1st round? This is insane. Who's more likely to be on the sideline? The wide receiver who went 17th overall in the 1st round, or the 3rd round guy? For me, the 3rd round guy is more likely to be on the sideline. Like, Egbuka has a lot of paths to being a smash. Godwin, on pup to start the year. McMillan, total 0. Mike Evans loses a big step. Any of those occur, / Egbuka is good, boom. Kyle Williams' path to being a 0. Kendrick Bourne plays ahead of him. Javon Baker plays ahead of him. Jalen Polk plays ahead of him. Rico, Wright, Braylon. We're going to go Braylon. You know, like there's so many paths for Kyle Williams to not be playing. New England plays 12 personnel a lot. So it's going to take some really positive training camp buzz. And New England is like one of the worst beat reporting teams for this, where they just go back and read the New England beat reports about Jalen Polk last year. I really don't know if he's playing week 1. And also, I like Drake May a lot, but there are going to be range of outcomes where he's actually doesn't take that big a step. And New England is like super run heavy. So my super flex team, Jaden, Gino, Rogers. Chuba, Kamara, Charbonnet, Braylon. Nico Thomas, Addison Ayuk, Igbuka, Josh Palmer, McBride, and Kincaid. Yeah, like what's my weakest position? Probably running back, and even there, I have two like touch dominant players at least to start the year. You would assume. We're gonna add on some running back darts here. I might just take 5 more running backs. Why not? After having 0% Henry and 1% Barker last year and still getting 20% advance rate and getting a team to the finals, I'm convinced no fade can kill you. Yeah, I mean, no fade really can. Obviously, the cheaper the fade, like, let's pretend you full faded Will Shipley. Will Shipley's getting drafted 100% of the time, and Will Shipley is the RB1 this year. That fade is going to hurt you because he goes so late in drafts. But in general, fading anyone expensive, it's hard to hurt you. Now, I faded Henry and Saquon pretty much too last year, but I had a ton of Jamar Chase. So, like, if I didn't have Jamar Chase either, that could have been a different story. Yeah, I had a lot of Chase Brown too, right? So it's like, yeah, you can have some fades if you have some hits. This is a super flex. Isn't Lloyd cooked? Not in my opinion. Could be. Why not? Someone asked about Jerome Ford earlier. Jerome Ford. I mean, on this point, like the year I won BBM2, I need people to understand what I was doing because I just don't think this would be done this in today's landscape. Jeff Wilson got hurt in the preseason, or he got hurt like in June or July or something like that. People stopped taking him. I still took Jeff Wilson probably like, I don't know, on 10 teams after he was hurt. With the logic being that I just need the guy to get healthy by week 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 as a backup to CMC. And people are no longer drafting him. So he's not going to be on that many teams. I was right. He returned healthy some midway through the season. He ended up being kind of a valuable pick on my winning BBM team. No one really had him. He gave me a week or two in the playoffs. Right? So it's like on Marshawn Lloyd, let's pretend even that Marshawn Lloyd is a 0 weeks 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he's fully healthy. Still a former third-round pick. Still could be a backup to Josh Jacobs and or sharing the workload. Still paths to get on the field. People could surpass Lloyd. Totally. I'm still betting on the draft capital for him from last year. I could be wrong on that. won't like it. Let's pretend Lloyd is a pure zero for my team. Not much has effectively changed. If Braylon's a good pick, or Ford's a good pick, or Charbonnet's a good pick, or just Alvin and Chuba, you can have a zero. Let's go Kendre. I like Kendre over Devin Neal. Could be wrong there too. In general, I would just prefer to be taking stabs on running backs not being drafted by the field because there's a lot of guessing happening right now. And so I just need the field's guesses to be wrong and my guess to be right. Like, there's no logic that's going to get you to Brashard Smith being drafted at 100% rate. He was a 7th-round rookie. He did do awesome at the Senior Bowl. So, like, I was into him in the pre-draft. I'll take one more wide out. Why not? I just don't need a 9 running back room. Dyami Brown, an old teammate of Jaden. Yep, Moss, rarely drafted. I like mixing him in too. What is the Lloyd news? Here, I'll pull it up for you, man. It's not much, but he started in the rehab group. Wow, the Lions center retired. That's kind of a big I'm trying to find the Marshawn Lloyd news. I mean, honestly, I can't find the negative news. I'm only finding positive buzz when I search the internet. Let's see, Marshawn Lloyd. Basically, there was like one blurb where he started in the rehab group for OTAs. And people saw that and they're like, ooh, that feels bad. And they could be right. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not taking a lot of these rookies right now. These guys could be the guys you need this year. And I'm planning to get more on my August teams if that's the case. Yeah, Lloyd went to a similar guy that like Christian Watson went for. I can pull up the Winks quote though. You can fix stuff like that. Yeah, like this is a good thing to me. Sure. Miles Sanders. I didn't even know I was on the clock. Could be a zero, could be the Cowboys starter. Seems like a fine gamble. So here's the team. Jaden, Geno, Rodgers, Chuba, Kamara, Charbonnet, Braylon, Lloyd, Ford, Miller, Sanders. If like 2 of these guys are a big hit, it's worth 3 zeros. Nico Brian Thomas added. Nico Brian Thomas Addison, Ayuk, Ibuka, Palmer, Diami Brown. It's a little thin at wide receiver, but, if these guys are studs, fine. These two guys should be getting it going by week 4 at least, is the hope. And some touchdown possibility plus mega upside possibility from some of these guys. Hoping to beat most teams at tight end as well. Could be terrible, could work. I mean, yeah, every team's going to have some zeros. Let's see. I know what we're going to do. We're going to do a drafters and then call it a day. $20 drafters. Let's give away a ticket too. Oh, nice. There's already people in here. 4 more. Drafters is total points. Use promo code ChessLiam to get up and running. $100 deposit match. Link for that is below in the description. And let's give away a drafters ticket. If you got a drafter's name, spam it in the chat. Winner will be selected in 30 seconds. Spam your drafters username. Gonna highlight the name. If you won the last 2 giveaways, you cannot win. When this hits 0, folks. Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Winner. It is Iwi. It is Iwi. Congratulations, Zach. You are the winner of the giveaway. Don't fret, folks. We're doing Total Points Tuesday tomorrow, where we hash out our takes of who are the highest scoring players in fantasy. It a Ziwi. Oh, you misspelled it? Okay. Jeez, man. Could have told me that before I messaged it. It's Ziwi. Correction. It's Ziwi. It's Jesus, man. Ziwi. It's Ziwi. All right, we got it. It is Iwi, is what I'll still call you. We are at the 10 hole. Let's move our chat here. If you're unfamiliar, Drafters is a total points contest. No pods. Just whoever's the highest scoring teams weeks 1 through 17 wins the contest. Contest typically overlays. We'll let the folks know. Sup, folks? Live on YouTube. This is my 24 Drafters team. Would you rather have RJ Harvey or DK Metcalf? It's close. I'd pick both. Yes, subs to the site are going to get another ticket sent out soon. Look at Zach, Mr. Greedy here. When's a free ticket? Asking for another one. But yeah, I'm going to send anyone who's been registered since September for a year-long membership is going to get one. So anyone who signed up in May this past year is going to get another ticket. If you were already signed up for last year, sorry, you're not getting another. Rockman. You didn't know his total points? Jesus, brother. I mean, I guess this is an edge of drafters too. Some folks don't know that, you know. I do have a breakdown of the past winning teams on my site, beatbestball.com. It's a free article. So it's PPR, 20 rounds, total points. Chat's pretty quiet. Sometimes people are talking trash here. There are definitely ranges where RJ Harvey could be catching a lot of passes. Jaleel could too. I mean, unless a team is like counting on Kenny Pickett points, you don't even need Kenny Pickett to win or to play. I don't think you want the guy that starts for the Browns. Whoever's starting at the Browns, certainly getting benched. Let's do a CMC squad. I mean, reports right now is CMC's fully healthy. I mean, I've not really seen anything on this, but if that happens, I would say that's. I mean, who's trading for McLaughlin? He brings it up, but fair. CMC and Brian Thomas? Why not? Why not? Getting Norway chess pulled up on my phone so I can peek at those games. Although I don't have anything to support my phone. Anything sturdy enough. We're going to get to that. Smarmy says, hey, Liam, big fan. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Justice for Smarmy. I mean, I don't like guys. No. McLaughlin, like what trade? Like envision anyone spending capital for him when they could just sign J.K. Dobbins or whoever. Maybe a 7th round pick swap. Who's you guys' favorite start so far? Who Hames? Become a YouTube member like Who Hames? Who Hames won a ticket in the past? 2 giveaways ago, I think. I do have drafters ranks on the site, by the way. For paid subs. Got those up last Friday, I think it was. Yeah, there is a lot of wish casting for trading. I mean, something you guys got to understand is like beat reporters are trying to drum up engagement. So it's like sometimes they'll just guess things or they'll do things that like they think are logical but might not happen. Oh no. Oh no. Who Hames? Get the rankings, brother. You need some help. 2nd round Jalen Milroe, 3rd round AJ Barner. Not even doing Milroe to Arroyo. CMC 8chan feels nice on drafters. It does. But I can't pass on Brian Thomas. You know, I love Achane too. I'm way above the market on Achane. Like I think Achane should consistently be going at the 1-2 turn. And he goes the middle of the second all the time. I think I'm going to win drafters this year, folks. This year's my year. Sure. Mike Evans just needs some huge games. I have won the 555 before. It wasn't $1 million. It was $250K, but I did win the 555 in the past. I've not won drafters. I've not won the eliminator. Man, it would be so sick to have a team running deep in the eliminator, though. It's just fun. Same with drafters. Like, if you have a team that's in the mix from week 9 onwards in drafters, it's similar to let's do Cook. If you have a team running deep in drafters like week 10 where you're like a top 100 team, it is a pretty sick sweat where you're like, oh wow, this team could like win 500K. Guessing, if you're wondering about your ticket, you should get it this week. They didn't respond. I sent it to them on Friday. They probably just weren't in yet. What do you think about the Tyreek Hill wrist injuries and trade rumors? I mean, the wrist injury sounds like it's something he had, and he's having like minor surgeries on it. I don't know. Like, there's no amount of news that really is gonna change the opinion on Tyreek too much for me. I take him sometimes. I don't always feel great about it, but I just know he could be an utter smash. We did actually get some news. He said he lost some weight. So I think he said he was playing at like 194 and he plans to play at like 185 this year. So that sounds like a guy who traditionally is won by speed. And he's a little bit worried he's not as fast as he once was. So he's getting a little smaller. So is it great for his longevity? Probably not. Can Tyreek Hill still be like the wide receiver 1 in fantasy this year, available in the 3rd round? Yes, he can. So like, especially on drafters, like the more a player can just be a pure league winner, like a guy you have to have, the more you want them on a total points site. Because even if a guy is a great pick, like Saquon last year, league winner, if they don't have a good week 17, like Saquon last year, he had an okay week 17, but he was overshadowed, then it doesn't matter as much in like a playoff pod environment. I do like Waddle. Let's do Waddle. I was tempted to go Kamara and do this like 3 running back start, but let's go Waddle. And I think if you're like some people want to full fade Tyreek, they're welcome to do that. I'm not that brave. Like if Tyreek was in the 1st round, yes, I would full fade him. But he's there in the 3rd. He's there at the 3-4 turn. It's not even a high bar to clear, I still like Olave. We didn't go Kamara, so going Olave there makes some sense. Thank you, Annie. Hey, Liam. Realized you were in my room on Drafters. I'm glad season long and not playoff format. What are you trying to say, Mike? Trying to say I'm worse at season long? Got my eyes there. Where are you guys at on Tyreek? If I was only doing a couple teams, then I think, yeah, fading Tyreek if you're uncomfortable is more justifiable. But like someone like me, I draft a lot of teams. For me to have no Tyreek would be just like wildly irresponsible. I don't think he's someone I want to have 16% to. You know, like I don't want to make the stand that like Tyreek is the guy you have to have. But at least 8%, 6%, something like this. Like the biggest risk of Tyreek in some sense as well is that the whole team could be terrible. Like this is risky for every Dolphin. It's not hard to see the Dolphins being fourth in their division, closer to like 5 wins. You know? Couple injuries, they're toast. Let's look at the Dolphins schedule. Wow, Magnus is utterly destroying Hikaru Nakamura already. Dolphins schedule. Colts should be a win. Patriots, I'm going to call that a loss. Bills, loss. Jets, it could go either way. I'm going to call it a loss, though. That has them starting 1-3. Panthers, could go either way. We'll call it a win. 2-3. Chargers, loss. Browns, we'll call that one a win. Falcons, loss. Ravens, loss. Bills, loss. Commanders, loss. Saints, we'll call it a win. Jets, we'll say they win this time. Steelers, loss. Bengals, loss. Bucks, loss. Now, it doesn't matter if you lose games if your team's scoring points, but still. Yeah, I mean, Goose, you're not a reliable narrator on 49ers pieces. You just like them all because you're a 49ers fan. We know that. His name is Gukesh. Put some respect on him. He's not the Indian guy, the world champion. And let's go Diggs this time. I mean, Magnus was winning the whole time, and then he blundered the game. That happens. Yeah, Tyreek is similar to CMC, but cheaper. Exactly. Sure, the Moondog. Mooney plays well with like a Diggs or Ayuk, where even if Diggs or Ayuk are a little slow to start, you got Mooney for the early season. I'm excited for the season 2 nightmare. Shut up, dude. I don't have a ton of Diggs, but he's cheap enough. Got to have some. No. Baker obviously made sense for us too. But there's going to be, Baker will make it back around to us sometimes. All it takes is like a draft or two to pass on him. And, going from like a 21 point per game quarterback down to like a 19 point per game quarterback, you're not giving up that much. So the team, CMC and Cook, Brian Thomas, Mike Evans, Jalen Waddle, Olave, Diggs, Mooney. We're trying to get a lot of running back points, get a lot of wide receiver points, add depth. Gukesh is losing now to his countrymen. God, man, these religion folks. Jesus is my favorite content creator. All right, the deuce. All right, brother. Jesus didn't write the Bible. He just starred in it. You could rewind, but since I'm a man of the people, sure, brother. He went Amon-Ra, JT, Breece Hall, Ken Walker, Joe Burrow, Laporta, Hawkinson, Kelsey. So, Sergeant Broseph, you're welcome in my draft. I think this team is dead. My guess is he's going to load up on wide receivers from here. But yeah, I don't think you can win a total points contest being too weak at wideout. And we'll see. People like this, sometimes they keep on taking running backs. Sometimes they keep on taking wideouts. You give it a couple of years, we'll get this, man. Someone will corner that market. All right, goes J.J. McCarthy with T.J. Hawkinson. Got to get your stacks. Got to get him. Or maybe he's building a Week 17 stack. Hawkinson, McCarthy, Amon-Ra. Yeah, I think Tyrone Tracy as a third running back, pretty solid for us. Even if he is not a thing by week 7, if he gives me some weeks in the meantime, that's fine. All right, this is tough. Jonnu can be an absolute requirement to win, so we're going to do it. I could have gone Purdy with CMC. I could have gone some of these wideouts who I like, but we're going Jonnu. Yeah, I think I'll do a visualization of the tiers, Isaiah. I got a lot of articles I'm like 50% through / research through. So, but this is a good idea. I'll get something like that probably when I do the redraft rankings. Obviously, I didn't win, so you're not wrong. But my only top 100 last year was a 2-4-12-2, where Addison was wide receiver 1. Burrow, Henry, Barkley did a lot of the work. I mean, yeah, like, okay, so what would have made your team win is if you had Jamar Chase in the first round and then those guys, maybe, right? And it's like this result doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean I'm right either that you didn't win, right? But yeah, in general, it's just kind of hard to make up high-end wide receiver production just through pure volume. So our team, 3 running backs, 6 wideouts, and a tight end. We'll add some quarterbacks, take it from there. Again, this is Drafters, promo code Cheslium to get up and running here. Total points format, typically overlays. If you guys like these streams, be sure to like the video, subscribe. I don't know if I'm going to have a stream Wednesday, maybe at night. I'm in the process of moving. I should be moved in by next week, so don't know how many streams I'm going to get out this week. And going to be moving towards night streams probably next week, so don't know how many day streams. Have you done any fast draft? They reached out to me. I don't know. I'm just kind of at my max bandwidth where I can't take on a bunch of new projects. Am I using Gritty for the move? I am not. I know it's another week 14 bye. I mean, none of these guys should take Trevor, so whatever. We're gonna do Ramondre. 3 week 14 buys is not ideal, but there's plenty of outcomes for Ramondre to be a really nice pick. I like the tight ends, but obviously we're going to get a quarterback here. Trevor to go with Brian Thomas. I still believe in Trevor. He's not had a great run recently, but this could be the year, folks. This could be his year. So Trevor, CMC, Cook, Tracy, Ramondre, Brian Thomas, Mike Evans, Jalen Waddle, Olave, Diggs, Mooney, Jonnu Smith. Do we think this guy's a Stroud fan? Stroop. You know, you should see the concept of this team. It's get a lot of wide receivers who could have big games. Anchor it with 2 running backs they feel really good about. For me, that's CMC and Cook. And then 2 running backs who you think should have some games this year. Take a swing at an elite tight end. We'll see. It's not hard for Jonnu to disappoint, but he also could be, 4 huge weeks does a lot of lifting. And then get a stacked quarterback. What draft structure is best for drafters since it's total points, robust running back? Again, I would highly recommend you read this article where I broke down the top scoring teams in the past. Different structures are going to work in different years. But no, it's not exactly just like, oh, yes, build running back heavy and everything will work out. That can work. You can also win going 0 RB, So Tua goes. Minor bummer. Would have been a nice pick with Waddle and Jonnu. Who will be this year's low-priced offense that overperforms? My guess is Carolina. Carolina is a very good guess there. I like them too. They could also be a disaster, but yeah, they could be pretty solid. So we're going to go Penix with Mooney. That's pretty nice. Getting a stack there too. The Falcons as well. I mean, like what counts as low price to you? Is it the quarterback you're counting, or is it the skill players? Because like, I mean, Carolina's not cheap. Like they have 2 players go in the 4th and 5th. Like Las Vegas, the quarterback is cheap, but the skill players aren't. This is not the type of dog I would get, Cade. I respect that you like an English Bulldog, but I would get more of like a mid-sized to big dog. Yeah, Geno is the last quarterback with job security. He's not stacked for us, but I want to stop at 3 quarterbacks. Yes, I could have done like Tyler Shuck since I have Olave, but I just like Geno's chances to like way outscore Shuck. And Geno is like his skill players are expensive enough. Gene T and Bowers, where like you might not even need them. You can just get the Geno points. Trevor, Penix, and Geno, they're 3 guys who are primarily going to be passers of the football. So no rushing production, not great, but Trevor will give you like 400 yards, 6 touchdowns some seasons. He'll have that in his bag. Maybe not off the injury. But yeah, being done at quarterback, 2 of them stacked, 1 who is just a great value. Feels good. Might not be good enough at quarterback to win, even with the skill players, but we'll see. I mean, like, who's the cheapest offense? New England doesn't have its first player until Diggs, and then everybody else is far cheaper than that. Or I guess Henderson too. Yeah, I don't know. The Colts offense, their first player is Taylor and then Josh Downs. What are your thoughts on Wan'Dale Robinson? Better guy in PPR. He has a role on teams that like need a guy to just like, some teams you have like a bunch of guys who you think can have big games but low games, and just getting like 10 points in there. Saints, yeah, the Saints is probably the cheapest one for good reason. So this is the guy who started that weird build. Now he's being forced to load up on wide receivers. Could work. Who knows? I wish there was a better way to like hide my rankings while doing this. I guess we'll just show the quarterback tab. Gesicki, though, a solid second tight end. We're going to go Jalen Wright. We passed on Achane for Brian Thomas. So let's take the presumed backup there. It is a third piece of Miami. That doesn't bother me. It's a different buy. I mean, my guess is Shuck, but yeah, I mean, I could be wrong. I like a format like this. I would be more willing to take Brandon Cooks if I have Shuck. Other than that, not a lot of interest. I was taking some in the big board. So we got a 3-5, 6-2. And this is probably gearing up to be a 3-6-8-3. One more tight end, 2 more wideouts, another running back. Gets you as close as you can be to being 3x every starting position, right? 6 running backs is 3 times the 2 starting positions. 3 quarterbacks is 3 times the 1 starting quarterback position. 3 tight ends is 3 times the 1 tight end position. And then 8 wide receivers is 1 player less than 3x 3 starting wide receivers. So that's why it's a chalk good structure. And I don't think this one is like so weak at running back that I need extra guys there, nor do I think it's so weak at wide receiver that I need extra guys there. I don't think it's so good at tight end. I should stop at 2. So yeah, just going to build a 3-6-8-3. Dyami Brown goes. He would have been a nice wide receiver with T-Law. You already know your normal fantasy league is going to be shucking oysters. I like it. No, yeah, the Saints, they definitely got skill players. They just got to get, got to get the quarterback. It's a wasteland. Let's do old man Amari. Not a guy we take a lot, but do want some. There's not a ton for stacking. There's Ray McCloud. We might do that. For Geno, like Dante Thornton, maybe. I don't know. We're probably just going to take a running back here. What's the ADP say? No, we don't want that. How do I go back to my ranks? I don't know how to. I've totally screwed this, but let's do Kendre. Why not? Kendre, anytime you could take the backups of some old starters seems solid to me. Correlates with my Olave pick somewhat. Alvin Kamara will be 30. Just need Kendre to be better than Devin Neal. And also CEH. CEH is there. It's CEH, but you might not think these late round picks are important. Couldn't be further from the truth. Often, these are the picks that win the let's look at some of the teams I had in here. These are some of the teams that won. Late round picks. Kyron, Tank Dell, league winner. Kate Otten, pretty solid. Kyron, right? Trey McBride, Tank Dell, Baker, Puka Nacua, Kyron, Puka Nacua, then had 3 zeros. Puka Nacua, Kyron, Deontay Foreman had a couple 30-point games that year. Chase Brown wasn't actually good that year. Puka Nacua, likely. Taysom Hill, Stroud, Chuba, Ford, Puka Nacua, Josh Downs, Puka Nacua, Trey McBride, Kyron, likely. Tank, Stroud. The year before wasn't as good a year for the late rounds, but still, Jerick McKinnon had a good run. Deontay Foreman had some big weeks. Zay Jones had some big weeks. Zay Jones, Deontay Foreman, Brian Pringle had some weeks. Conklin, Daniel Bellinger, man, I forgot about him. I like Higbee. Higbee could be a smash. We want upside. Someone took Ray McLeod, so no worries there. Not a guy who you're like, oh no, someone took Ray McLeod, you know? I prefer Higbee to him. I could be wrong. I mean, both these guys have validity. Jermaine Burton is obviously a swing from mega upside. Lazard literally gave a lot of weeks last year. We took Jermaine Burton. We got a lot of Yoshi Voss, so we want to balance out that somewhat. So the team, Trevor, Penix, Geno, feel pretty good at quarterback. Am I going to be the best team in the contest at quarterback? Probably not, but these guys need to layer their weeks together pretty well for me. CMC, Cook, Tracy, Ramondre, Wright, Miller seems like a fine running back room. Obviously need Tracy and Ramondre to have some big games along with CMC and Cook. Need Wright and Miller to have some games as well. Brian Thomas, Mike Evans, Waddle, Olave, Diggs, Mooney. That 6 could be good enough. Everyone has a different buy too with my top 6 guys. So the guys I spent the most draft capital on all are going to be playing most of the year. 2 of them are stacked in Brian Thomas and Mooney. Cooper and Burton, we'll see. Just need a couple big games. Jonnu, Gesicki, Higbee feel strong at tight end. Could be strong enough. Who knows? So, yeah, not my favorite team, but a team I feel is pretty good. Jeez, man. Don't put that into the universe. We need Kendre Miller's 30-point week 2. All right, folks, that's going to be it for me today. If you want to get up and running on Drafters, promo code Cheslium. Link is below. I'll be streaming sometime tomorrow for Total Points Tuesday. Peace out. Enjoy your days.